Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3G. It is Robbie and Clem back for another She-Hulk recap. She-Hulk Episode 2. We're going to be doing these exclusively on YouTube from here on out. The first one, it was a big premiere episode, so it was YouTube and podcast feed to kind of kick things off. But now House of the Dragon is kind of taking over for us on the podcast feed. A huge show, obviously, 10 million viewers. Most viewed show of all time, I think. It's crazy. And She-Hulk is now going to live on YouTube, but it's a good show, I think, through 2 episodes. It's worthy of recaps. Clem, you were kind of saying the same thing before we started recording. How are we feeling?
Feeling very good. I think we're 2 for 2 in terms of episodes, which we'll dive into in a minute here, but definitely recap worthy. Remember the old term was blog worthy. Is this really a blog worthy story you'd hear in the comments and stuff like that? But She-Hulk is definitely podcast worthy, and we'll see how it all wraps up by the end of the season. This is one of my favorite Disney Plus shows so far because I feel more in the Marvel universe with this than almost anything else, which is crazy. And maybe it's just it's half hour, it's short, it's light, it's sweet, gets taken care of. 2 for 2, definitely podcast worthy. If you listen to the Game of Thrones, we do people. Our own fucking the head of content didn't even know we existed. So we're just gonna say, if you guys like Game of Thrones, me, Robbie, your boy KFC, and then a weekly guest every single week from Barstool we go live on the My Mom's Basement YouTube. As soon as the show's over, we hop on, we give our idiot Barstool takes, and then we put it on the My Mom's Basement podcast feed. We put it on obviously the My Mom's Basement YouTube, and then we have the Game of Stools Apple, Spotify, whatever, wherever you get your podcast feed. So subscribe to it there. You get your Thrones, and then we'll have She-Hulk on YouTube every single week moving forward. We got the merch too. This shirt, the merch girl sent these, and I didn't even know what that was. And my wife told me, she goes, I know a lot of middle school kids wear the what's it, Thrasher?
Thrasher, yeah.
The Thrasher logo is sick in Dracarys. I got the Miami Heat Dracarys, so we are pumping out merch. It just feels right that Thrones is back. It just feels so goddamn good. It's like the return to normalcy. And then like Marvel's back doing Marvel shit again here. So it's 2 for 2, and it's a great time to be a nerd, baby.
She-Hulk is not without its detractors, though, because every time we put out She-Hulk content, I've been putting out some Instagram reels, some TikToks. We get people in the comments. This is, woke propaganda. You guys are lying about this show being good. Just admit how much it sucks. Someone told me, why don't they just create a new character instead of creating the She-Hulk? What a 2022 concept. She-Hulk existed since 1980. Like it's been around for over 40 years now. This is a character that they're just adapting. It is annoying to have to like put up with that. So I can't even imagine being like the creators and whatnot and having to walk that minefield. But it's like such a self-aware show that it's frustrating to hear that.
It's just so, is this what life is just going to be like for now? And is it going to get worse? Or is there going to be a time where it's like, those goddamn bozos are just going to shut the fuck up and we could just enjoy? Like, if it was a show like that, we would say it's like that. That's the one thing I always say. I am fucking, like Robbie is like, we always said back in the Last Jedi thing. It's like Robbie's a fanboy. He fucking loves this shit. He cries during it. That's his thing. I'm always going to try to give you my opinions for better or worse, whether it's good or bad. But like, I think we could all agree if the show was garbage, it wouldn't be fucking recap worthy. We would act like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So oh God, I'm just so tired of this stuff, man. It's just, and you live online and that's kind of all the stuff it goes. This shit is fucking fun. I'm just having fun right now. A half hour is the perfect amount.
Such an easy watch every week. It's like, oh, boom, it's over.
I looked up the gifts. I was looking up gifts for the blog when I was blogging about it, and she has a line, Jennifer, I think in episode where she's like, let's not forget whose show this is. And it's like, that's kind of funny because it's like a lot of people are kind of like, just give us a little more of the green guy. Give us some more Bruce here. And I kind of like that. Like, again, it's self-aware. It knows what it is. It knows who, like, if you and Dave are doing a show together and it's in My Mom's Basement, it's going to feel like Dave is going to run the show, right? Because he's still fucking Porto. And it's kind of like that with She-Hulk and Hulk. And I kind of appreciated that. But we got a little bit of updates in this episode. So things are moving along in the MCU right now.
Yeah, so let's get into it. The episode opens in the aftermath of the whole trial last week that turned into a fight and everything. She-Hulk is on the news. They're calling her She-Hulk. Jennifer hates that name. She's like, oh, God, no, not She-Hulk. Like anything but She-Hulk, which is kind of funny because Miss Marvel kind of had a similar thing with Nightlight. She was like, "Oh no, Nightlight!" Like, just the media always coming up with superhero names for them, and every time they're like, "Fuck, I guess that's gonna stick. That is what it is." I
That's
thought
so
that was
real
good.
too.
Yeah,
That's so real. Like if one day Rob Fox woke up with superpowers, it's like you don't get to change your, you don't get to choose your nickname if you're an athlete or something like that.
I mean,
It
even
kind
at
of gets
Barstool,
bestowed
like
upon you.
Octagon Bob stuck from the day Dave said it.
Yeah,
Dave was like
exactly.
Octagon Bob, and that's been my thing since.
And it's whenever you try to choose your own name, like Paul George try to be PG-13 or playoff P, and everyone's just like, that is the lamest shit I've ever heard. You kind of got to roll with the punches, and you like that is, again, that's some part that is the real part of a superhero show, is that's how it would play in real life. You get the name and you would either love it or you would despise it, and she does not like it, which I kind of like that about it. I didn't know that was a She-Hulk thing.
And then she gets fired from her law office. This is gonna be another one where I'm like, I almost used a bad
law
term
firm.
there.
I believe law firm. I believe
She,
law firm.
she
Bob.
gets fired from the law firm because her turning into She-Hulk turned that trial into a mistrial. So she kind of, I guess you kind of lose the case when it's a mistrial. Again, I don't really. Who knows? Did they got to do it again? It's a mulligan. What's going on with the mistrial?
I feel like, yeah. Let's see. You didn't lose the case, but like
I feel
like
you blew it, like in a way.
And it's like you didn't even blow it by being a bad lawyer. You blew it like for fucking
for
other
saving
reasons,
lives,
administrative.
Like, really.
And that's the other thing. She's saving lives, and this is gonna, I imagine, be the line she has to she has to keep balance of, is being She-Hulk and saving lives, but also being a lawyer that isn't getting mistrial. You fucking mistrial person. It's like, well, I haven't lost a case yet. It's like, yeah, because I have 30. I'm 3-0-35, and it's 35 fucking mistrials. It's like a good MMA fighter who keeps getting DQ'd.
No
it's
contests
like,
or something. Yeah.
Is there a guy in the UFC or even a girl that is like that, where it's just like, this guy's awesome, but they're always getting disqualified?
I mean, not an awesome fighter. Greg Hardy, he had a stretch where he was getting disqualified for, everything left and right. A knee, using an inhaler. Like, he just kept going. Yeah.
We're talking football player Greg Hardy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see? I've started this take as woke for you guys. Fuck Greg Hardy. Fuck him up as fucking is. If you like Greg Hardy, unsubscribe from the channel.
Anymore.
Don't watch anymore. Fuck Greg Hardy. That's not even because he's a goddamn cowboy. Fuck that guy. It's almost like I've been like a wrestler back in the day. Like, there was a time where Triple H basically was just using the sledgehammer every match and getting disqualified. That's like She-Hulk. She keeps getting mistrials because she fucking turns into a mutant. Oh, that was the other thing. Oh, this fucking gutted me. I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, we're grounding the MCU. It feels like it's real life. It's so great. When they said that the battle took place between She-Hulk and quote-unquote super-powered influencer Titania, I wanted to put a bullet in my brain. If I have to hear about a super-powered influencer, that was a super-powered influencer, that was just too real for me. I don't like that goddamn I word. I hate the I word. Speaking of what I hate too, that guy Dennis, the lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't know if this even makes sense, if it's the right way to use the word. I don't really use it. I hate this word too. The guy's a cuck. I fucking hate that guy. He's on the sus list as well. And
and the cuck list.
The cuck list. He's on the cuck list. I like that. I think he said this. I don't know if I heard it right. He goes, oh, there's a hot chick over there. I'm going to go talk to it. He called it an it, which I don't know if that was supposed to be like a demeaning thing towards women, or if he's a Skrull. That's my other thing. I'm starting to think Skrull sus list, man.
Ooh,
my brain is all
good
over
to think ahead like that.
Yes.
Get the brain working for the Skrulls early. Yeah, I like that. So she gets fired, but the law firm that she was competing against that got put into a mistrial hires her. They're like, hey, listen, we'll hire her. We'll hire you. There's a whole scene in a bar where she's turning from She-Hulk into Jen. And when she does that, she gets way more drunk because of the, I guess the tolerance or whatever for each person. And she even says, like, I'm struggling here. Like, do I become an Avenger? Do they even get paid? Like, and we saw in this Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam Wilson kind of being like, bro, I can't get a fucking loan. What's going on here? Superheroes need a better plan.
That's the truest thing ever, man. I remember when I don't know if it was Chernin, or maybe it was actually when Penn, the Penn deal came down. Everyone's like, hey, congratulations. And I remember Riggs had the best line. He's like, it doesn't mean a fucking thing for me. You know what I mean? Like, congratulate Dave, congratulate Dan, congratulate Kevin, and like a couple of the other OGs that had their like fucking equity in there. All of us, it's like, it's keeping the lights on right now, which is awesome. By the way, shout out Penn. We love you, Penn. Barstool Sportsbook, Barstool Sportsbook, Barstool Sportsbook. But other than that, it's they have healthcare, a pension plan? Like, it was whole real ass fucking words.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. And that is something
I like that it's addressed, though. It's at least like brought up. It's something that fans always bring up, and She-Hulk is doing a lot of that and bringing up things fans have debated for years and being like, I don't know, it's real in the MCU. We're acknowledging it.
They like, She-Hulk is bringing the conversations from the basements to the big screen, right? Or I guess the little screen in terms of the TV, which I love. I should do some research on this before the next episode and figure out who the writer or the directors are, because they definitely, there's a little Kevin Smith in them, right? They're embracing, they're nodding their head at all this stuff. There was, I don't know where I saw it. I saw it online. Culture Creative tweeted it out months ago. I missed it completely, but I think it's before maybe the Ant-Man and there's a ride or something, and he kind of like nods about going up Thanos' ass and you know, blowing it up, and they're like, he's like, first of all, that's gross. And second of all, it wouldn't have worked. And he's about to start talking why, and then Wasp is like, anyway, because they're like, we're not going to talk about, you know, Thanos' anus. R.I.P. a piece of my big purple buddy.
And so, it works in universe too, because you could just say that's something people said, like, why couldn't Ant-Man do that? And then he talked about it on his podcast that we found out he has from Miss Marvel and everything. Like, that's so funny.
Yep, it's incredible, and it's the little things in this show too. So it said She-Hulk, attorney at law, and then it said attorney for hire. It changed the logo because she had just gotten fired, which I loved. And dude, when they went from She-Hulk, she's buzzing, she's feeling good, to just regular Jen Walters and like blackout drunk and getting fired, that was a cool little thing I loved as well. And you mentioned how she gets like recruited. The craziest thing, the most unrealistic thing of this entire show so far, she has an answering machine.
Oh yeah, who has an answering machine?
Who has an answering machine? Even if you're an attorney, like, you have to have just a cell phone. I know it doesn't work as well because you can't do you hear the message going on in the background when she's waking up. But fucking answering machine, that felt like 1980. That's like old.
I remember like yesterday, my mom's like answering call for us. It was, "Hi, you've reached the Foxes. We can't get to the phone right now. Please leave a message after the beep."
I think we're on like a 3-episode Mama Fox run. We're going to have to keep this going. It's going to be an Easter egg. She's going to be she's our Stan Lee. The Mama Fox voice is our new Stan Lee.
Cameo in every episode.
It's funny you mentioned that. My parents' answering machine, I did it probably when I was like 13, 14, like a teenager. And we would get new answering machines, and I would then have to re-record it, because whenever we have someone else do it, or they're like, this just doesn't feel right. So you'd have me every 5 years or so go on, and to this day, I don't know if they still have their phone, their landline, which is a shock. But it's still me from, at this point, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. My voice still on there. So it's one of those things that is like one of those, my kids will never understand, like, wait, you called the house and that was the worst, man. And you know, you're calling just to like call your buddy to see if he wants to play or something, or I mean, God forbid you're calling up like a girl's house, and then you're just like, please not the mom, please not the dad, please not the mom, please not the dad. And you just had like, answering machine was almost best case scenario, other than your person answering the phone. And I feel like a goddamn ancient person saying this. I imagine most of the people in the basement do remember landlines and answering machines. Yeah. I got a landline when I moved into my house. It was like the triple play. I think the triple play was $100. No, it was $100 if I got all three, and it was like $98 if you got the triple play or something, or $90. And I was like, why is it cheaper for 3 instead of 2, right? Instead of just getting cable and TV. I put in that phone, and that phone, no one had my number, and I would just get spam constantly. So I think they sell your phone number to spam people. So
knock
it's like
some money off the top.
Not because they're probably making a good amount, and you're getting $10 off a month. Everybody wins. I unplugged it from the wall after like a week, and I was like, after a year, I was like, yeah, we're done with the triple play. We're just gonna go 2 here from now on. So shout out to everyone who still has a landline. You think this is gonna sound bad? I don't even want to say it right now, but I'm gonna say it. And it's really fucked up because he's going to be on Game of Thrones on the recap special with us tonight. Trent's parents definitely have a landline still at their house.
Oh, definitely.
They definitely do. I mean, they might not even have cell phones. They might just have the landline.
Yeah. Speaking of Marvel, it kind of debates in-universe references. Jen goes to a family dinner, and her dad is like, "Can I ask you something about Hawkeye? When he shoots the arrows, does he go? Does he pick them up afterwards? Like, it seems like kind of dangerous to just leave him around." Another funny debate that I feel like we've had in the basement before. Like you said, they're kind of taking the debates from Twitter and putting them right into the show.
Yep.
And just a funny family dinner scene overall. I thought it was good.
It was very real. Like the kid that's the Best Buy manager, he's like looked at in better eyes than the superhero that saved lives and was a very successful lawyer. And then the mom was like, "Oh, I know a kid that wants to be a superhero." Like, what kind of a line was that? That was incredible. That made me laugh out loud. And again, it's very different worlds, but you see as your jobs, like now when I go to family dinners and stuff and people actually know what Barstool is, it's like, "Oh, Dave, my favorite pizza place, he didn't give him a good score." Or, "Is it true? Is Dave really like that in real life?" It's always shit like that that always just makes me laugh. And I feel like we did mention something like that, like the Hawkeye arrows. Like, those things shouldn't just be out there. Some, God forbid, some kid, right, Bob? God forbid some kid gets
there is the scene in Hawkeye where he has to go like through Central Park because he's like, fucking arrows are in Central Park, which is funny. He does have to pick them up.
Like, that's something Tony Stark could have helped him out with. RIP my dog Tony Stark now is like self-destructive mode, or it like burns itself into like ash or something.
Like dissolving stitches.
Yeah. And remember, they even referenced the line, dissolving stitches is one of those things that blew my mind the first time I heard about it, by the way. By the way, Stitch, let's get a Stitch update. Let's get a mouth update. How's Bob Fox
still
doing?
in there. I mean, the mouth feels sore every now and then, but I think it's mostly good. I got to get the stitches removed like September 16th or something.
Food staying
13th.
down still? We're good?
Food staying down? Yeah, I think I'm through it.
And let me just say this to everyone, now that I think about it, the only reason we're late this week is because the schedules just didn't line up. There's a lot of shit going on. I had to go away for the weekend, obviously. So it's been tough, but we'll try to get these She-Hulks out as soon as we can.
Faster,
but
yeah.
I think we had stuff in the office. We had that big company meeting. I don't think either of us even went to the party. It's can't even blame the party for this, but we were both just doing shit. It's been a lot of work, and it's going to get even busier. Like we said, Thrones. I got the Mets playoffs coming up. Andor, NFL season, so there's a lot of stuff. But we'll get She-Hulk up, definitely review worthy. The line where she says, I don't think he even goes by that when they call him Hawkeye. And
yeah.
Again, like, I don't understand how you just can't take this show for what is. It's a half hour. This would
have so inoffensive, like as a show.
Exactly. And
this gives you fun little nuggets about the MCU, funny jokes, like the CGI in this episode. It wasn't the best. I noticed it a couple times when she turned into She-Hulk, and I went, "Oh, okay, like, there you go." But, like, it's not enough to make me go, "Oh, my God, they're ruining the MCU.
Worst episode ever."
You know?
I just, if you're not going to like, would you rather they just not show her transform, and then she's one and then the other? Because that's the other option, and it's like, I personally don't care, but I've learned to like trying to figure out what people like, don't like, get offended by. This is basically what I was hoping the best case scenario of Miss Marvel would be. Funny, light, kept it good, and advanced the MCU. I just realized I was way too old for some of the stuff in Miss Marvel. It just did not resonate with me, which I think for younger people they like. So it's like good for you guys.
So here we get her introduction to the new law firm where she's told, "You're going to be running the superhero division. We hired you so you could run this. And by the way, we're not really interested in Jennifer. You need to be She-Hulk at all times when you're here."
The first ever law firm focusing on superhero law. I love that.
Yeah, which is going to be funny. I'm sure we're going to get some funny cases coming up with like cameos. I think that will be an interesting way to do it, like actual superhero law cases and whatnot. But she doesn't like this really, and she doesn't like it even more when she's told your first client is going to be Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination from the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk movie. And this is Tim Roth, one of my favorite actors. If you're a Quentin Tarantino fan, how could he not be one of your favorite actors, I feel like? And he is eating up his scenes in this show. He was really, really good in the first episode. He kind of explains to her because she has to go and meet with him. She's like, "He tried to kill my cousin Bruce. Isn't there a conflict of interest?" He's like, "Just go meet with him." She goes and meets with him, and he's like, "I was thinking I was the good guy. Like, the government made me. They pumped me full of all that super soldier serum. I thought I was doing the right thing there." And she kind of grills him, but gets to the point where she's almost on his side. She decides in her mind before she even calls Bruce, "All right, I'm going to take this case."
I like when there's sides, like there's levels of gray. You understand why the villain did what they did, and
Yeah, he made a good case.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I even watched all of that Hulk movie.
It's not as bad as people say it is, to be honest.
I know like Marvel went 0 for 2 with the Hulks once upon a time, and
Yeah.
I think this is kind of maybe the best way to go about and getting the Hulk his own thing. The waiver announcement was great too, where he's like reading, it's like nothing you can will be done, and blah blah blah. And they're just saying like if you get fucking ripped to shreds, that's just the way it goes. It's a problem. By the way, her assistant when she's in her office, that assistant
Nikki,
guy,
is it? Or no, the guy.
the guy, yeah. He's almost on the sus list because he's too nice. When you you have like everything taken care of, like a little welcome basket, the map to the best bathroom for pooping was like the nicest thing I've ever seen someone do for someone else in my life. And I mean, anyone that works in an office knows it's not a fucking fun thing to do. But everyone
that bathroom exists at Barstool.
Yeah, exactly. That bathroom does exist at Barstool. So I almost want to throw him on the sus list, but I'm trying to not sus list people that might just be pure of heart. RIP my dog Sparky now, who's literally is a dog in this case. When we're talking to Abomination, do I call him Abomination? It seems a little
Abomination.
You think so? Because he's we see him later on that he is Abomination. Yeah. The prison pen pal program. We're talking about 7 soulmates in his thing. Is this sus, Bob? Is this a little Easter egg? Is this a little breadcrumb coming for down the road here? Do we think that one of these 7 or maybe all 7 of these people could be like, how do you get
Mephisto?
in that? Mephisto confirmed. Mephisto. I think we have our screen grab for YouTube. Mephisto confirmed in episode 2 of She-Hulk.
Yeah.
By the way,
actually just make that the thumbnail and just as an inside joke for the people that actually watch it.
Yep. I've done a thing now where for like Podfathers, we barely get any views on YouTube. We just having fun with it, just trying to get something else out there. And I'll do the exaggerated YouTube headline with like the exaggerated YouTube screen grab, and it's like, old man podcaster almost chops dick off on podcast, and it's large looking down as me and him are talking, and then the like what's it called, the body or the description of the podcast is like, yeah, that entire thing isn't real. I'm just trying to get into the algorithm here. Were you ever in a pen pal with anybody back in like school or whatever?
No, my brother went on tour when I was in between like 4th and 5th grade. So like him in a way, like, but it was just like me and my brother writing each other like AIM messages while he was on tour, updating me and stuff.
So this is the thing I was going to say. It's digital now where your pen pal or whatever is basically your.
Oh yeah. You mean pen pal, like
I'm talking
writing
letters.
No, not like that. No.
And I figured that probably died at some point, like when Robbie Fox was being born is when pen pal stopped being an actual thing. That's why Dunder Mifflin is always struggling. The paper business can't be doing too well and whatever. But I guess your pen pal is like this guy on Twitter that I met, right? Or this Reddit person fucking could be the person you play Call of Duty with. And you see those videos where I love those videos where they meet up for the first time.
Like
and they're like in their wedding parties and shit. And I'll tell you, man, those guys may have a better bond than like some of the friends that these people grew up with. Cause like you just spend a shitload of time, fucking friendship is friendship no matter what.
And you don't have to go through like awkward situations ever. There's no like, it's just like you're doing something you love together all the time.
You're just eating the frosting of life with these people. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about dealing with all the other stuff. But I had a pen pal. I think it was during Desert Storm. Like they had like kids would write to like the troops that were over there. And I remember having a back and forth, which was pretty cool. And I will say there is something to this day about getting a piece of mail. It definitely, like a physical piece of mail in the mailbox, it definitely goes a long way in my opinion. I don't know if you're the same way, but I always love having like a nice physical piece of mail there. I think Bob froze.
I don't know what happened there.
You were froze. I think
it went away. It went away on my screen. It was weird.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was like talking about writing actual physical letters caused Bob's young brain to break, and he's like, "What are we even talking about?" But when I get a letter from someone, which is very rare, my buddy and I will like occasionally write a handwritten letter. And then we'll throw like baseball cards or any kind of like memories you find around. Nice. And it just gets it going. And when the kids get letters, the kids go fucking bananas. They love it. They give their grandparents, their friends, all that kind of stuff. So this is what I'm going to ask everyone out there.
Write somebody a letter.
Write somebody a letter. You may not know their address, right? No one knows anyone's address or phone number anymore, but try to figure it out and write yourself, maybe make a little care package for a friend. That's the way to go, man. This world, it's been a crazy few years here. I think we all need to get out and just enjoy life a little more and just connect back with the people we love.
Agreed. And we find out at the end of the episode, she takes the case, she calls Bruce, and Bruce is on a Sicarian ship, that the one that came down, going off somewhere. He's like, I got some business to take care of. Goes off. Sus. What's going on there? World War Hulk, maybe. I made a video on it.
Yes.
Like 25,000 views on YouTube. So check that out.
Not a big deal.
Figuring out the algorithm here. He also has a great nod to the Edward Norton Hulk, where he's like, listen, it's fine. I'm a completely different person now. Literally. And it's like, oh, nice. We like that. We love a reference like that. And she takes the case and then finds out on the news 2 seconds later that he was spotted in an underground fighting club, like we saw in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings with Wong. Maybe that's going to be part of the case. We're going to that's going to bleed in and everything, because in Shang-Chi, it seemed like a teaser for something. Like when Wong brought him back, we were debating it at the time. Like, what's that going to lead to? Like, is Wong helping him out? Is something going on there? So I thought another good episode, not as good as the first maybe, but still enjoyable, still very enjoyable.
You give me some nerd fan service, right? You advance the story.
Post-credit too. There was a post-credit.
Was that when they see is that when they see Abomination in the thing? I thought that was that was the post-credit.
Maybe it was.
Where they see him with Wong.
Yeah.
So I always loved that. And yeah, I'm with you 100%. Definitely some sus shit going down. And for the record,
the post-credit was her using her She-Hulk strength around the house.
Oh, yes.
That was funny.
I love that.
Mounting a TV and stuff. Like, yeah, that was good.
I wish, that's the one thing that, I'll be honest, I've been hard on the boy. Little AJ here has, caused me some gray hairs along the way. But I just think one day he's going to be old enough to lug the stuff up the stairs, do the lawn himself, whatever it takes. And that's where it's all going to be worth it. Having just some fucking superhero drop out of the sky and can just do all this heavy, hard shit for you. That was very relatable as well. And again, I don't understand how people don't like the show other than obvious reasons, because they're crazy. And for the record, pen pals, good thing. Pen pals with sus potential supervillains, bad thing. I'm not going to fucking get myself in trouble. Yeah, don't write wait, you can write to people in prison.
I mean,
unless they're supervillains, do not write to supervillains. If there's real life supervillains,
or murderers, I think of Manson right away, like the people that married him and stuff. Yeah,
that's true.
And Tim Roth might be reeling us in, and he might be a Manson himself. Who knows? He's a crazy guy as an actor and stuff.
I am very excited to see there's good actors that have been in Marvel that were in bad movies. You're like, oh, they wasted that. Well, now if you bring them back, we have Feige kind of making everything good again. We now have just Tim Roth in our lives.
He's a top contender for Elaine Bennis's team too.
Yes,
he could be
definitely.
Their Hulk, basically.
He's going to be their Hulk.
For the Thunderbolts, even if it's not, because he worked in the original Hulk movie. I think he was working under Thunderbolt Ross. Maybe he's just the Thunderbolts thing, even if that's not Elaine's thing.
He fits in perfectly. When you think of the poster, it's all right, now who is their super strong person of this group? Abomination. Fuck it. Put that on the graphic too. Mephisto confirmed in She-Hulk episode 2. Abomination confirmed in Thunderbolts movie. Just confirm a bunch of shit, and we're just gonna throw stuff against the wall.
Give me a shocked face to use for the thumbnail. Perfect. That's good. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to the She-Hulk episode 2 recap. We will be back tonight with a House of the Dragon live recap with Trent and KFC. And we'll be doing that on the podcast feed every week right after the episode. We'll also be doing these recaps. So tune in. We'll try to get them up sooner next week and in the weeks leading up. We'll see you then.
Make your predictions in the comments of what you think is going to be the big give us a prediction from this episode of what you think can happen. Mephisto confirmed. What were the Abomination or Thunderbolts, and whatever it is. And the hashtag for today, if you want to hit us on Twitter, #PrisonPenPals. I never think I'd see something like that in my life. #PrisonPenPals.
He's going to put us on some watch lists.